Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Simple Eating webinar. I'll give everybody a couple minutes to get on. Hi, Trey. Glad you're here. I love webinars. We're having trouble streaming to Facebook. This may be an issue on Facebook's end. Is it possible the stream was ended or deleted? We'll keep trying. Welcome to the webinar. I'm not really sure what's happening for that. Let me see. It looks like all was good and well. So we'll just go ahead and keep on going. Sorry if you're having troubles on Facebook. Switch to YouTube. YouTube, there's no issues or problems. Good evening, everyone. If you just joined, I'm Dr. Cassie. With Major Family Chiropractic. If I haven't met you yet, most of the time there's patients on here, but there might be some guests that have never met me before. I am so excited to do this webinar with you guys. It's absolutely transformed Dr. Michael and that's my husband, our eating recently. So I'm really excited to share it with you guys. I'm going to just shrink myself so you can see that so much better of what we're talking about. And if you have any questions, my goal is that we would go through questions at the very end. I literally only have 7 slides. That's how simple this is. So I even kept this PowerPoint to the most simplistic PowerPoint that I've ever done. Now, that doesn't mean that it won't be like 20, 30 minutes, but it is in its simplest form. But if there was any questions or anything, please write them in the comments section. I can see them and I'll be sure to answer them before we are done tonight. So let's talk about just simple eating in general, because if you hate meal planning, if dinner is always stressful at your house, or you waste a lot of money on food that never gets eaten, this is the webinar for you. Like simple eating webinar, that's exactly what it means. Is we are going to walk through what it means to have a simple eating lifestyle. So when I think about simple eating, this is inspired by living a life that's very minimalistic. So I love cooking. I love cooking, but I don't have time a lot of times. So this has been an absolute lifesaver for us. And so what this means is you're going to begin to keep your diet simple food choices, and you're going to give up any type of like super complicated and restrictive diets. We're going to move more into like a nourishing eating and intuitive eating. So now I am rarely stressed when it comes to meals. It reduces all kinds of decision fatigue of like what we should eat, where we should go, what we should do. We save a lot of money doing it this way by not eating out, which we'll walk through. And one of the best things that this has done is it's given us our nights back in our evenings. And that has been really special for us, that we're not just spending our nights cooking food. So if this sounds a little bit too good to be true, I promise you that it's the way that we live every day. And if you keep on listening, keep on learning this simple eating philosophy, you can apply it to your own kitchen. So this is all about, if you just joined, this is all about simple food choices, nothing elaborate, nothing lavish, like few high quality ingredients, minimal packaging, minimal processing, which is also going to help with minimal waste. If you thought this was a nutrition webinar, I apologize. That is not what this is. I am not going to be going through like healthy fats, unhealthy fats, like grass-fed beef versus just conventional beef. I'm not going to go through which oils to use. Like, I'm not going to go through, should you buy things organic or not organic? I have done so many of those webinars, and you can go back into the archive, whether you're watching on Facebook or whether you're watching on YouTube. You can go back. I've done everything from a paleo to blood type eating to plant-based to advanced plan to all of the things when it comes to nutrition. What I've seen that's missing though is like, how do you apply this? So this is an application webinar of how to eat super, super simple. However, I want to make this very clear. Simple does not always mean easy, especially for a lot of you, because I think so often we equate the two because we love the idea of having an easy life. But when you're simple eating, I want you to be more convicted than anything. So when you have convictions, I want you to live according to your convictions. What convicts you? So whether that means like getting rid of clutter, whether that means choosing generosity, whether that means protecting your health, that doesn't mean that it's easy, but it's worth it. So, couple mental shifts before we really get into this. You have to shift your expectations. Simple, natural food is not going to taste like pizza delivery or greasy takeout. Okay? It'll taste exactly like what you put into it. However, your taste buds and your ability to make this work will change. It will evolve. It will shift. You will learn what to use, what you have on hand. Number 2, shift your strategy. Shift your expectations, and you're going to shift your strategy. Simple eating requires an intentionality, and at first it can be a little bit overwhelming. For me, I had so much overwhelming that it made it so simple that it made my life so much better. For some of you, if you're so used to eating like freezer meals, you are relying on factories and restaurants to do all the cooking for you, this can feel like a real sacrifice for a lot of you. But shift your expectations, shift your strategy. Now, there's 2 big things that this will shift though for you. Your body's going to thank you. Whether you cut out certain food groups, that's up to you, but you're going to be better nourished when the food that you eat is close to its most original and raw form. And when you have that available, you're going to also experience a better appreciation for food. Your mindset with food will shift, and you'll likely experience less stress around food. Everything that you eat will be better for you. You'll know where it comes from, and you'll have more peace and gratitude for the food that you are eating. Shift your expectations, shift your strategy. Your body will thank you, and you will experience a better appreciation for the food that you are eating. So let's get into this. The first thing, Courtney says, it does sound too good to be true, but I'm excited for this. We need some simple meals that are easy and healthy, and that's exactly what we're going to walk through. So let's talk about meal planning. So when meal planning for me, it just didn't work for me anymore. Recently, like I was the queen of meal planning, meal prepping. Oh my gosh, for the last 9 years, I have been talking about meal plan. And I'm not here to say meal planning is bad, but I'm just saying that wasn't working for us anymore. It wasn't working for my schedule. It wasn't working for time to sit down, plan my meals, go on Pinterest, go in a cookbook, figure out what we were going to eat. And it just took too much time. So I was going like crazy in my brain where I was like, oh my gosh, there's got to be another way. So I had to rethink my approach to food and meals. So what we're going to do is we're going to simplify it. Keep everything super simple. So I didn't come up with this concept, but I started living this, and I was looking things up, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I'm doing. And it's called a capsule kitchen. So if you're familiar with capsule wardrobe, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're not familiar with a capsule wardrobe, and I haven't gotten there yet with my clothes, but if you're not familiar with it, the idea is really simple. So you have a small closet and it's full of clothes that you love that can easily be mixed and matched, and it takes the stress out of getting dressed because you don't have to plan or worry too much about what goes with what because they all go. And you feel very confident when you put the clothes on. It's because you love these items. They're the only things that you keep that when you look at it, you're like, I love this shirt. I love this sweater. I love these pants. So this is how we're going to do a capsule kitchen. So the idea behind it is keeping it like a capsule wardrobe. So how we do this is we have things that are always stocked. Our home is always full of these go-to foods that we love eating. So I no longer shop for meals. I shop for all of our go-to food. So this is what it looks like. A pantry that is stocked. Now, I did bring some of my pantry in here. So I'm going to do a little bit of a show and tell. But how this works, and I have my notes here, so I don't want to forget anything. But in our pantry, that's always our favorite basics. We do have brown rice, sweet brown rice, organic brown rice, not every day, but we have it. But that's one of the staples. It's in our pantry all the time. We also keep nuts and seeds. So we're keeping this just so that you know on all healthy things. So we're not stocking it full of a bunch of garbage. This is the stuff that we love healthily. So we have all of our nuts and seeds. We put them in jars like this because we usually buy them from Costco or Trader Joe's, and we have them there. So I know that this is what we love. This is what we use. So I'm going to make sure that it's always stocked in my pantry. Then we have your pasta, but like the chickpea, lentil, sweet potato, cauliflower. We always have 2 to 3 boxes of this in our pantry at all time. It's a go-to. Primal Kitchen, we love this brand. We always have this stocked in our pantry, from marinara sauce to all the dressings that they have. They're all good, made with healthy oils. We always have our bone broth in there. We get this from Costco. Bone broth is one thing you want to, I know I said this wasn't a nutrition webinar, but here we go. You got to read the ingredients on all bone broth. They can have sugar or MSG inside of them, but we always have bone broth. Then we always have some sort of like beans. We don't eat beans a whole lot, but like garbanzo beans, black beans, and we really love Sietes, refried and pinto beans. They're just so good. We don't eat them all the time, but we always have them in there. And then we always have our oils. So we have our coconut oils. We have our avocado oil. We have balsamic. It's a big one that we always use. And then we, in our, even though it doesn't go in the pantry, it goes in the fridge, but we do Siete tortillas. Those are like always stocked in our pantry all the time. Then we have our eggs, our meat, our fish, berries and vegetables, and a selection of our favorite condiments and spices that are healthily made, not just having them in there just to have them in there. So the seasonal fruit and vegetables, or the berries and vegetables, we always get frozen berries. We make sure that they're always in their freezer, frozen strawberries, salad, spinach, and then cauliflower rice, sweet potatoes, and avocados. Like those are our staples that we have all the time. This is our capsule kitchen, no matter what. Then when it comes to vegetables, you can do things like we buy a lot of ours at Costco, but it's like, we love broccoli. We love all vegetables. We love Brussels sprouts. Like we love green beans, cauliflower. You might go to seasonal vegetables. So you might go to a farmer's market and get those vegetables. And then eggs, meat, and fish. We always make sure that we have those that are in our kitchen. And then when it comes to condiments and spices, think about flavor families of what things go with each other. So you have like Mexican, you have Asian, the good old like just garlic and herb stuff, like having those in there at all times. So we make sure that that is always stocked, no matter what. That is what we have in our fridge. So we rarely shop with any particular meal in mind anymore. I mean, this past week, I was like, I want this crock pot cheeseburger. And it's healthy. It's not like full of a bunch of cheese and grossness, but it's like really good Whole 30 And I was like, I want to make that. So I made sure I had ingredients for that. But then the rest of the meals, like it is based off of this capsule kitchen. So when we buy our eggs and meat and fish, we have a freezer that's extra that we buy from Costco, because if you buy the chicken and things from there, like you save a lot of money from doing that. And sometimes, especially if you're a single person, you could buy one section of that and then that lasts you for 3 to 4 like weeks. And you only have to buy it one time. So you can save money by doing that. This capsule kitchen is meant to be a guideline for you. When you have this guideline, I'm gonna make myself small again. This guideline here, it's not meant to be followed super strictly, like a bunch of strict rules. So some days your meals will look different, and that's totally fine. Now, the last part of this is so important. Just like with capsule wardrobe, you want to make sure you love the stuff. So if you enjoy eating everything that you buy and you don't over shop, you won't end up with a bunch of food waste and a bunch of food going bad. So since we're not worrying about recipes or having planned meals, you can make whatever you buy work with almost anything. So how does this continue to play out with meal planning? This is where you're going to have your go-to meals. So I'm going to use another fashion analogy. I am not your person of fashion, but it makes sense to me and I like get it. So there's a lot of people, like especially in the minimalist community, and what I'm trying to do, you have your personal uniform. And your personal uniform is basically, it's like your go-to style that you wear all the time. So for me, it's literally yoga pants. Like if I'm not in what I'm wearing to work, it's like yoga pants and a Noble crop top, or like and a sweater or a sweatshirt. Like for some of you, it might be like your skinny jeans, oversized tops, like boots. For guys, you might be like a polo guy and you wear a polo and you wear shorts and like you literally have them in every single color. And what's about this, like you feel good when you wear it. So the same thing goes with these meals, because you can mix things up. So you want this thing called a food uniform, and it works exactly the same way. So there's a few basic food structures, if you will, that we know we love eating. We love build your own bowl, build your own salad. We love stir fries, sheet pan meals, crock pot meals, tacos, soup, stew, smoothies. Like this right here, those are food structures. And when you have a food structure, this is a foundation for almost any and every meal. And they're all pretty super easy and quick to make, even for those of you that don't know how to cook or you have limited cooking skills to begin with. So all that you have to do is pick a uniform and then add to it from your capsule pantry every day. And then you have yummy meals without any effort or planning whatsoever. And now, if you're really new to cooking, you may need some resources. But the whole point of this is you don't have to follow a recipe, but you might need to follow a recipe to begin with. So what that means, you might need to have 4 go-to salads that you eat for lunch. Mix them up week to week. Take a stir fry, for example. Like you can start with some brown rice or some cauliflower rice, cut up vegetables that you love, add protein in it, chicken, beef, fish, it doesn't matter, beans. Put it in a healthy oil, stir it up, add some coconut aminos, and eat it. You can do that every week. Like if I think about how many times a week we eat tacos, it's a lot. Like we probably eat tacos 2 to 3 times a week, but the insides of it change. So cauliflower tacos, steak tacos, chicken tacos, bean tacos, You can put almost anything inside of a taco we love tacos. So we just change up what happens on the inside. Think about recipes, like when you're choosing recipes, 10 ingredients or less, like give or take. Nothing more than 10 ingredients. You don't need that. Like you're taking good food and you're making it with herbs and sauces and spices. Like you're flavoring it yourself. Keep the cooking method simple. You don't need 7 burners going on at one time. One, you can have the oven and the sheet pan meal, put it in the crock pot, put it in just one pan, one pot, and then be done. Make your meals super simple and narrow down your choices to a handful of just solid, healthy, tasty recipes that you and your family love. Rotate these favorites throughout the week. And identify, like, change your flavor profile. I know I just talked about this, but like Mexican, Italian, Spanish, Japanese, Korean, Vietnamese, Moroccan, Mediterranean, what's great about this is most vegetables do well with nearly every single flavor profile. So it will serve you really well. Let's talk about shopping. Again, if you have any questions, sorry, my nose is like running and I know that that's gross, but like it was just running. So if you have questions, can you show me the pasta and the sauces again? This is helpful. So Primal Kitchen is the sauce that we love. It doesn't have anything bad in it. So all good, healthy. They also have like an Alfredo one. They have all kinds of, like, from tomato basil to like there's a vodka sauce one. They're really great. Primal Kitchen dressings. Of course, if you can make your own dressing, you can, and you have it for the week. But if you want to make it simple, thankfully, this. When you look at pastas that are chickpea or lentil, like we don't get wheat pastas at all, but you want to make sure that you're reading the ingredients. And this right here, it just says chickpea flour. So you're watching for that they don't dupe you and put some wheat in there or semolina. You want to get the more vegetable made pastas with that. Good. Camille says, this is incredible. Yes, it's going to change our household eating. Absolutely. So let's talk about how it's going to help with shopping. So let's talk about shopping. Make it super simple. Shopping is very stressful for me. I hate it. And I think it's because, I mean, I don't know. I just like, there's people everywhere. Saturday and Sunday, people are shopping. I'm like, I can't do this. There's too many people. The lines are long and I just don't want to do it. So it can be stressful, but there are, like I mentioned before, in the pantry, there are some things like we're always keeping in our house, including the rice and the things that I showed you. I only shop for those about once a month or more. Like the last time I bought balsamic, I mean, we're going on months for this, but it is a staple. We use it almost every single day. But like, I'm not buying coconut oil every week. I'm not buying nuts and seeds every single week, usually. So when it happens, like only shopping for those things once a month, it helps because you don't really need a list when you're shopping simply. Now you might need a list like when you go to the store to be like, oh, so you don't have to remember it inside of your brain. But I shop online. So I am an Instacarter, and this might not be like the best way to save money, but it saves me a lot of time. And when I go in there, I have 2 places that I usually shop from on there, and it's Costco and Sprouts, or I'll go to Kroger, and I literally have the same things every single time. I'm like, do we have berries? Do we have nuts? Do we have this? And I just go through my pantry staples. Is everything there? And then I'll pick the vegetables that we're going to eat for this week, whether it's the Brussels sprouts, the green beans, the cauliflower, the broccoli, or I'll get a couple of both, just depending on what the week looks like. Are we going to have enough? And then I just rotate those through, and then we have our protein, and then we'll either have brown rice, we'll have cauliflower rice, we'll put them in a taco, we'll have sweet potatoes, we'll put them on a salad. Like, we don't have any more recipes because it's like, this is what our family loves. This is what Dr. Michael loves. And I'm like, hey, do you feel like this week? Do you want this? And he'll either say yeah or no. And we'll go the other direction and we'll be like, what do you feel like this week? What do you love? Like, what do you not want? Do you feel like doing that this week? And then that's how we do our shopping. And it almost sounds like, really? But yeah, like when you think about meat, you can get a whole chicken, you can get a lamb roast for your family, and you cook that at the start of the week. But overall, like, you just have it for the whole week and you don't have to spend a whole lot of time thinking about it. It's like, we're going to have lamb roast this week, or we're going to have a whole chicken this week. And we eat meat. Like, we eat meat. We are meat eaters. We are not vegetarians in this house, but we save a lot of money by buying them at Costco or cooking them at the beginning, or getting like a whole chicken or a roast, because that's cheaper, and then cooking it that way so it lasts us a couple days. We always have eggs. That's what we usually are the only thing that we buy. Like, we buy meat, we buy eggs, and we buy the fruit and vegetables. That is what happens on a weekly basis. All of this stuff doesn't happen all the time. So then you can save money by doing it. Okay. Again, there's no plan, really, unless I decide, or Dr. Michael's like, hey, can you make that? Maybe some Asian turkey lettuce wraps, and then I'll make sure that we have that. But for the most part, I have no plan for what I'm going to use this food for, because I have our go-to meal bases, our uniform. We have our food uniform. We know what we're doing. And our weekly grocery list is nearly the same every time. It occasionally changes if we feel like something different, or if something's out, or we want a specific meal. So then let's talk about cooking all of this. We're going to make it simple here too. How does that sound? So on any given day, we generally start by deciding, like, we know our food uniforms, whatever we feel like eating. We're like, I mean, pretty on point. Every lunch, it is a salad base. We put balsamic on top of it, and then whatever vegetables that we've roasted and whatever protein that we want to do. Dr. Michael came home and he made a salad. He heated up a burger that he made yesterday and smashed it up on top of it and put some vegetables on it, and then ate it. And he was happy. Like, it was like, this is great. This tastes good, because it's what we love. That might not be what you love. So you've got to find those go-to meals that you love. But like, if we're in the mood for tacos, like, we'll go into the fridge, we'll cook some of the ground beef, whatever, or chicken, and grab whatever meat and vegetables that we feel like, toss them in a pan with a little bit of cumin and chili powder, serve it with some lime, and then put it in a tortilla. And that's our lunch. That's our dinner. And what I found is, like, when you have the basics, you can add them to anything. Anything. And it's also a great way to clean out your fridge. And the same applies not only to the tacos that I'm talking about, but to stir fries, to salads, to bowls. Choose a base, add a meat. So your base can be salad. It could be cauliflower rice. It could be rice. It could be sweet potatoes, like whatever base that you want it to be. Add meat and veggies, and then accessorize with your spices, whatever you feel like. Just like the capsule wardrobe, mix and match anything. So, like, here's some more examples for you. You could do a stir fry. You could have chicken, broccoli, cabbage, onions. You add coconut aminos and no sugar sriracha sauce. Make some rice, make some cauliflower rice, put that over it. You could have a bowl with rice. You could put eggs in it. You could put beans in it, peppers, cabbage, add some avocado. If you eat cheese, like raw cheese, like putting that on top. Maybe you have a salad with spinach, chicken, sweet potatoes, carrots, beans, cheese. Add this dressing on top, and you're good to go. We make it a little bit more complicated because, and I did too for a long time. I used to meal plan, and I would go to Pinterest and I would put all these meals together. And when you think about it, like making these real meals, like finding it out of a cookbook, like you're making and you only have like this much of an ingredient that you use and then the rest of it goes to waste, or you're like, nobody likes it, or you're like, oh, somebody else wants to do this. And it's like a whole thing, but you have these bases, like the possibilities are endless. You just mix and match things. So very rarely does it take any longer than about 30 minutes to make dinner for us. And it's usually a lot less than that. It's just a little bit of chopping. It's tossing things into the pan or the oven. The oven is the one that takes the longest, like for it to just go in there. It might take 30 to 40 minutes to roast whatever it might be. It's really simple, but there was a huge mindset shift. You have to give yourself permission for it to be this easy, and that you don't have to cook certain types of meals to be a good wife, to be a good husband, to be a good mom, to be a good dad. You have to change your mindset when it comes to this. Now, when you're cooking, I'm going to shift my mindset a little bit here too. Especially those of you that are newer to cooking, or like what kind of things help this process go by a lot faster. Well, I know that we do need to have a high quality pan. It needs to be either stainless steel or cast iron is the ones that we use. No nonstick. You want to get rid of that ASAP, but those are the bare necessities. The bare necessities of life will come to you. But we found this is usually the best kitchen appliances to really help, because you have a Vitamix blender. If you don't have a Vitamix, they're absolutely incredible. They last for forever. It has endless uses. You can make juice in it. You can make smoothies in it. You can make nut milks in it. You can blend soups. You can make ice cream. You can make sauces, all out of a Vitamix. Like smoothies, even like thinking about smoothies that you can put in, like what a great base of just having your spinach, you have your coconut milk, you have your berries, and you can put things and accessorize on top of it. Slow cooker. We use our slow cooker a lot, especially in this fall and winter season. It's perfect for all kinds of stews, and just used it this past week, melding ingredients together without any supervision. So you just leave it and you come home to it. It is a game changer. Get your crock pot out. And a food processor. So this is different than a blender. Okay. But it makes cutting up vegetables. It makes you can make nut butters out of it, but it will pulverize anything quickly and fast. So it makes chopping a little bit easier. So coming to an end. More simple eating. So I don't have these on here, so you're going to have to write them down. But let's talk about food prep. You can food prep if you want to. You can prep ahead of time or do it as you go. So if we're going to have chicken on Monday, I'm probably going to cook the whole thing. Like, even though we're not going to eat the whole package, but I'll cook it all at once. It makes it easier to do throughout the week. But if I need a vegetable, so if I like need a little bit of broccoli, like I'll go ahead and chop the whole thing. Now we buy a lot of our vegetables at Costco, so it's already cut up, which makes it nice. Now, does it usually cost more if you're not going to buy it from Costco and you buy it from like Kroger or Sprouts? Yes. So if you want to save money, buy the whole thing and then cut it up yourself. But it's a really good balance for us, because we're a little bit prepared, but not like super organized with everything. But if you feel like you want that to be a thing to make it easy and simple, like go for it. If you're worried about getting bored, mix up your flavors, not the structure. So you keep the structure where it is, but mix up your flavors. We don't get bored because we mix up the sauces, the spices, the vegetables, and go back to the wardrobe analogy. Capsule wardrobe. Think about a white t-shirt and jeans. They can be mixed with 100 different outfits. You can change your shoes. You can change it. You can put a scarf on it. You can put a sweater on it. Like, the possibilities are endless. Sorry for all of you men that are like, I don't know what you're saying. But like, think about a tie. Like you have like a suit and tie, but you can change up the tie. You can change up the thing that's in there. Like you can do all of that. You can change it up. The same thing applies here. You can also create a use it up shelf. So if you have leftovers or anything that needs to be eaten really soon, put it on a shelf. That way you don't forget about it. You can clear the shelf. And then just like I said, you have that base. So put leftover chicken, carrot sticks, hard-boiled eggs, whatever it is, like put it into a stir fry. You know your family loves those foods, so you're going to use those as like taking and getting rid of those things. Last, like don't be afraid of an empty fridge. The goal of simple eating is to eat everything that you buy. So an empty fridge at the end of the week is a good sign because it means that you're not wasting any food. So how this changed my life. Before simplifying my eating, we would always buy way too much food. We would cook meals, but then buying all the ingredients that it takes for those meals and only using half of them and not really knowing how I could use them in another way, everything would just go to waste. Or like if I didn't plan well, which felt like a lot of times that I didn't plan as well as I wanted it to, we would end up with so much food that we didn't know what to do with. We used to waste so much food. So when we started to change to eating really super simple, I buy a lot less now, a whole lot less. And we eat it all, which is absolutely fantastic. We also eat out way less. And this made a huge impact on not only our budget, but our health. And I think though the biggest thing was it just saved me so much time and so much effort that I used to spend every Sunday cooking and shopping and stressing out when I didn't want to be doing that. And now I no longer spend hours in the kitchen. Like this is time saved. That now our evenings are good. Like Dr. Michael and I can spend more time together. I can read if I want to. Like I can take care of myself instead of just spending all this time trying to figure out and make these elaborate meals. Like, do you guys know, I used to never want to eat the same meal twice, ever. Like in my meal planning and meal prepping, because I have like Pinterest boards beyond Pinterest boards of food, and I would make it every week and I never wanted them to be the same. And it was just messing with my whole brain. And I was like, I am done. So if you are there, just know that you absolutely can make meal planning so much simpler, breaking it down into just your basics and going into that capsule kitchen with your go-to meals. And it really is that simple. So let me see if there's any questions. So good. It's important that your utensils are safe and not, yeah. Thank you, Melissa. And all of your utensils, like that's where it's like no Teflon, no nonstick stuff. That stuff will leach into your food, and those toxins inside of your body, they wreak so much havoc. And you don't want to do something good, healthy, and put all the good food. You buy the grass-fed beef, you buy the free-range chicken, you buy all these vegetables, and then you're toxic. They're full of toxins. So switching over your utensils is a great thing. Good info. It's important. Yep. And seems doable, not overwhelming. Yay, this is so good. I hate spending time in the kitchen and shopping. This is such a good mindset shift for me. Christy, thank you, Cassie. You guys are so welcome. If you have any questions, and if you haven't connected with me, Instagram is usually the best because that's where I post a lot of things. Our office posts a lot of things when it comes to different recipes and about health and like what's coming up next in our office. You can also visit our website, as well. So I hope that was helpful for you guys. If you have any other questions, please reach out to me and share. If this was helpful, like share this with someone else. I know that there's a lot of people that are struggling when it comes to eating simple, and it would mean a lot putting this together if you shared it or told people about it. I would absolutely love that. That would be so great so that people can learn how to eat simply and not stress out like I used to or like you used to, because you're going to start moving in the right direction. All right. We'll see you guys soon.